Welcome back to another interesting episode on ogi production. Previously, we explored the ingredients needed to make ogi, its significance in the society, and its health and economic benefits to the country. Now today, we are excited to dive deeper into the world of ogi production. By the way, I am Sumaya Edujobi, and with us here is...
My name is Mrs. Patience Okwechime, and I am the trainer for ogi production.
Before we dive into today's discussion, I would like to remind us of our previous discussion. We talked about the ingredients needed in making ogi, majorly corn, guinea corn, and other grains. We also talked about the significance of ogi in the society. It is a common known food in this society. We also talked of its health benefits to the pregnant and also the young children. We also talk of its economic benefits as a way of generating income for the youth. Now let's proceed into our discussion for today. Stay tuned. Mrs. Okwechime, can you give us an overview of this skill and its earning potential?
Welcome, and ogi production is a highly lucrative skill. And because ogi is a meal that is eaten by all and sundry, it makes it a high in demand skill. A lot of people know how to process it, but do not like to go through the stress of processing and preserving, because it's a kind of meal that is most times made fresh. That is, it is made or produced and kept in water. Water serves majorly as a preservative or preservation for it, except where you have the freezer or any form of refrigeration for it. But in the local parlance, it used to be such that you would prepare it and keep it in the container with water in it, covering the surface and leaving it to stand. But the process of turning the water every day is kind of strenuous, and so that's where we now come in with our dried ogi production.
Why did you think this skill is a lucrative business for someone looking for a way to earn income?
Like I mentioned earlier, the stress of having to turn water every now and then makes it kind of difficult for people. A lot of people want to eat it, a lot of people want to have it as a meal, they want to have it for their children, for their aged, for themselves. But the stress, like I mentioned earlier, of having to turn water, particularly if you're in a place, in third world countries like Nigeria, where electricity is not 100%, it's even 50%. And if you live in an area where electricity is not so good, it increases the chances of you losing it. So a lot of people need a fast solution to that problem of having to turn water every day. So this makes it highly lucrative. This makes it a skill that you'll easily sell in the market, because one, ogi is something that everybody loves to have. Two, they don't want to go through the stress. Three, you are ready to provide something else for them as an alternative to it, to the stress of having to turn the water, that is the dried one, and then you make it easily affordable. So it makes it very, very lucrative, because at any point that you produce it, you will almost always have customers to buy from you and to patronize you.
Is there a specific amount of capital a beginner must need to get established in this field?
Well, ogi is not an expensive meal, and with about 5 to 10,000 naira, you should be able to start production. So you can produce first for one person, and then from then on you can scale up. So you need to learn how to run a business. Okay, the way that you raise capital, you have 5,000, for example. You buy your grains for about 2,025, and then you process for about 1,000 naira, and then that's about 3,500 in total. And you sell for 5,000. That's you sell for 5,000, so you make 5,000 from 3,500. Okay, you add your 5,000 to the 1,500 you add from the 3,500. So you have 5,000 plus 1,500, that's 6,500. With 6,500 and additional 500, you now be able to produce 2 packs. 2 packs you now sell for 10,000. Okay, I'm just using these figures as examples. The profits or the turnover is actually higher than that. You know, you could make as much as twice of what you are putting. So when you start with, let's say, like 5,000 naira, within, depending on how radical your marketing is, within 2 weeks you can triple that amount. Within 1 month you can 10x your capital.
It means I can start this business as a small scale business owner and scale up within some short period of time.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you have just a little amount, all you need is you have your amount. You know the skill, you know how to do it, and then you know how to reach people. You are not shy. Some people say they are running businesses and nobody knows about it. No, you are ready to go all out and do your marketing. The sky is yours. It's your springboard.
But are there seasonal variation in income earning for this skill?
Well, because we are producing the dried one, it makes it such that during the rainy season, we tend to have slowed down production because of the rains, particularly if you're drying using the sun. So, but there's a solution to that. If you now can afford a dehydrator, such that in or out of season, whether we are in season, that's whether it's in the rainy season or in the dry season, you are always able to produce. Your income will not reduce. In fact, it goes higher. Your income will increase in the rainy season because there is usually cold in the mornings, and everybody usually needs something hot to take when the rains come. So instead of the disadvantage of the rain that will stop you from being able to dry your produce, you know, if you are able to beat that by getting a dehydrator, you will have higher inflow of income during the rainy season than if you were disadvantaged by not having a dehydrator. So the income flow is pretty much, you can determine it, you determine it. It's how much work you're ready to do, how much funds you have to pour into it, and how far you want to go with it that determines how much income you can actually make. You run the show. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Okwechime. Can a beginner earn money while learning this skill, or is it until I gain my mastery class in ogi production before I can start earning?
Like I mentioned earlier, it's not a very technical skill. It's not too technical, so you can learn it in a very short time and immediately start making profits. If you have capital, you can invest them. I asked students some time ago who learned in the period of time that they had to learn the skill, and fortunately went for service the following year, or the third year, because he was in 300 level. So after 400 level, he went for service, and he made about 300,000 naira writing a proposal at the NYSC. Access Bank came and were giving grants to those who had good proposals, and so he made money. I have a student who, while learning the skill, started making money while still learning. He hadn't even finished. You know, he had just learned a little part of it, and he was already selling. You know, he already sold 40,000 naira worth of pap even before the skill had ended. He came to excitedly tell me about it. And I was really happy for him. So yes, you can make money even while learning, even when you haven't, perfected your skill.
What are the most essential steps a beginner should take while trying to earn money in this field?
Okay, first things first, make your product standard. Make it qualitative. Ensure that your moisture content is very low. Ensure that your product is of international standard. Global is the standard for me. Okay, you're starting with your grains and then the production itself. Ensure that you make it very beautiful. Then add your spices and all that. And the nylon, the packaging, very important. Whatever the eye sees, that's what it appreciates. So if the eyes, if what you have is not attractive to your potential customers, if the packaging is not good, we know what obtains in supermarkets. So on the shelf where your product is going to be placed, ensure that it stands out. It easily catches the eyes of your customers. So if you're able to do all of that and then move out into the market, be very aggressive with your marketing. Market back to back on social media. On if you want to do traditional marketing, one-on-one sales, fine, you can do that. And if you want to do social media marketing too, do it. But I assure you that you will never lack customers for this particular product.
So that means as a beginner, I need to learn about packaging and marketing strategies.
Yes, and I personally teach all of that while I teach my course. When I teach marketing, I teach packaging, I teach how you even design your stickers and the kinds of colors to branding. Okay, teach all of that. Yeah.
Okay, the popular saying that says experience is the best teacher. Is it possible for me to gain more experience as an apprentice by working in a well-known organization that is known for its production in ogi, to gain more experience while earning at the same time?
Absolutely. You can do that.
So our viewers out there, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Is there a current demand for this skill? Like in the marketplace, is there a current demand for this skill?
Yes. The African food market is a rising one. It's one that is rising in potential. In recent times, the last few years, I think like in the last 5 years, we have seen a massive migration of Africans or Nigerians out of Nigeria onto other countries, the Japa syndrome, okay? So this has made an increase in demand. It has caused an increase in demand for these traditional foods in the outside world. Before now, we were already exporting ogi, just one or two orders here and there. But right now, there's a huge demand for it outside. There's a very huge demand for it. So, yes, there is a market for it. And even the Nigerian populace, we have not been able to produce enough to serve those of us here in Nigeria. We have not been able to do that. So, we add those of us here, and then the international markets together, is a huge gap. I happen to have friends who have started a business because of me, and a lot of them have gone on to get NAFDAC numbers, and they are really doing, their numbers are high. Yes, they export already, yes. So the demand is high. My friend always gets, every now and then, orders upon orders, every now and then, for Africa, that our meal, this ogi, in the developed countries, because there are some Africans there, Nigerians there, who are away from home and want to eat homemade food. Yes.
Okay, ma, there are various grains which are used in making ogi. For example, the white corn, the yellow corn, and also the green corn. which of these corn types did you think are more valuable in the market?
Well, for us, we produce mixed grains. So we have different types. We have the mixed grain, and we have the mixed grain, which is made of all the grains. We have yellow corn in it, white corn, red guinea corn, white guinea corn, millet. The two types of millets, we have them in it. And then we also have some that are just purely yellow. That's made up of just yellow corn, as yellow pap. And we have the white one made up of either white corn or white guinea corn. So, but I would say that it depends on what people love. Some people prefer the white ones, some people prefer the mixed grain. But I noticed that the mixed grain has been the one that has been trending the most. A lot of people get to request for the mixed grain much more than even any other type. But all of them, they all have different roles that they play. They all have different nutrients that they carry. For example, I know that the red guinea corn is very good, or is rich in supply of iron. Okay, because of red color, of course. So they all have different nutrients that they supply to the body. But I'll say that I think the red one, the one that has red guinea corn in it, is higher in demand and has more nutritional value than the general.
What are the common mistakes that can be made while trying to monetize the skill?
Okay, so one of the mistakes people make is, number one, they overcharge. Number two, they undercharge. When I started in this business, I used to just add like 200 naira, 300 naira to my cost price and sell because I wanted high turnover. But one day a friend of mine, the same friend of mine I mentioned earlier, called me to a table discussion and asked me how I was pricing my product. And I told her, she said, have I added the cost of transportation to the market? Have I added cost of grinding? Have I added, by the time she, analyzed everything, I realized that I was actually not in the business. I was not making profits. I was just going through the motions, but I wasn't making profits. So that's usually some of mistakes that people make. We just go through the process and they'll think that they're making money when that's not. So it's better you know your numbers, and ensure that you are doing the math correctly.
Okay, that means as a beginner or a person that is already into this business, I need to know about monetization strategies by knowing the cost of production and adding up to it. That means as a beginner or a person that is already in this business must ensure to add up its cost of production and also its profit to ensure the growth of the business and to prevent the easy downfall of the business. Ma, do you have any tips for a beginner or a person that is already inside this business for maximizing his profits income?
Well, I'll say that the best thing is to get cheap sources of raw materials. If your raw materials are cheap, that is, the grains are cheap, the spices are cheap, definitely your costs will be cheap. And the cheaper your cost price or your selling price, the cheaper your selling price, the faster you rise, the faster people patronize you, and the quicker you get to sell off your products.
But while talking about cheap products, some people might actually mistake cheap prices of products for a reduced quality of products. What can you say about this?
About that, like I read or I always known, people buy emotions. So when people are investing in something, they don't want to buy something that makes it look as if they are cheap, they are not taking good care of themselves, or they are not taking themselves like they are taking themselves lightly. So yes, that will account for those that will not buy something that is cheap. But on the other hand, we have people that are just after let them get something to eat. You understand? It doesn't matter how much it costs. Sure you get. So when you see scam people, they may not be able to price much. So the truth is that we have different kinds of people, different tastes. So you have to now determine your target market. Who are those you want to sell to? You want to sell to top bank managers, you want to sell to bank staff, you want to sell to people in top places, for example. You know that your price cannot come cheap because they will never appreciate cheap. But you want to go to the market to go and supply them in the market, you have to reduce your price, you have to sell cheaply to them so that they can buy it and they can dispose of it on time and then, call for more again. So it depends on the place you are walking into, if you are selling to. So you understand the people that you are selling to, your target market. In your target market, for example, if you want to start selling your bar at 6,000 naira, you know that you're not selling to normal people, you're not selling to streets, you're not selling to students. So you face working class people, in some parastatals and all of that. So your target market will determine your pricing. Yes.
That means as a beginner, you need to learn about who your target audience are for you to be able to maximize your profits. Now, how sustainable is this skill as a long-term source of income?
It's very sustainable because number one, it's easy to make, easy to get resources. Resources are everywhere. Then it is always in demand. People always want to take ogi. So because of that, it is highly sustainable, highly sustainable.
Okay, before we go, can you please share us a success story of someone who started small and has expanded in his business so as to encourage others who are yet to start or who are also in the business but are facing in one or more challenges while making ogi?
So like I mentioned earlier, that I have a friend that produces pap. Funny enough, we started doing it together. I started it first. I told her about it, she started it. Now she's doing millions monthly from selling only pap. Okay, she sells this flour as well. So she does millions monthly. So yes, it is a very lucrative business. And the beautiful thing about it is that it has high level potential for making a lot of money. So if you're looking for a legitimate way of making money, I am available. I'll teach you how you make how to make ogi, and then you can now be able to sell.
Thank you, Mrs. Peace Okwechime, for sharing with us some gainful insights and your expertise on ogi production as well as its monetization strategies. For our viewers out there, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you've gained a valuable insight on how to begin ogi production and monetize it yourself. Ma, do you offer some services for someone who is intending to start the ogi production, or a person who is already into the business but needs to scale up its business and ensure more profit income?
Alright, so if anybody wants to start the business, I've been in it for like 6 years, no, 7 years now. Okay, you can reach out to me on 08069237335, and you can call or send a WhatsApp message. Then you can also buy from me in the sense that I will package it, okay, and leave it for you to place your own sticker on it. So you just buy the packaged pack from me and you put your sticker on it by yourself. So that is called white labeling. So we do white labeling, we also do normal packaging. So if you need anything like that, you can just contact me, and my email address is patienceokwechime 02@gmail.com. If you send me a mail, I'll respond to it. If you want to buy, you can even also buy just a dried pack in kgs and then repackage. You can buy your nylon or your pouch for yourself. You can buy your sticker by yourself and just buy the number of kgs that you want. So there are so many options that you can use to start your business. If you don't want to go through the stress, we'll go through the stress for you. We'll just we'll package for you if you don't want to package, and then you just put your own sticker on it, and it becomes your own brand. So there's so many opportunities available in it. You can call me, send me a message, or an email. I'll always be here to attend to you.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on Newly Learning Tech Up for more insightful topics. I am Sumaya Edunjobi, and behind the camera is my amazing partner, LJ. Thank you. See you next time.